Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to be treating a very special patient, your computer. If it's been feeling a little sick lately, well, this is the diagnosis and the treatment plan you've been waiting for. Do any of these symptoms sound familiar? You're in the middle of a game and your frame rate just tanks. You're trying to render a video and it takes forever. Or maybe the worst one, the screen just goes black with no warning. These are all distress signals, and we can't ignore them. That's right. When the internal components of your PC, like the processor or the graphics card, get way too hot, they just start to malfunction. But don't you worry, because we're going to fix this step by step. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to identify the enemy. Then we'll move on to first aid, which is all about cleaning. After that, we'll teach your PC how to breathe properly by optimizing its airflow. For those of you who want to push things further, we'll look at some advanced upgrades, and we'll wrap it all up with the final verdict: a fully optimized PC. Let's start at the very beginning. To defeat the enemy, you first have to know the enemy. And inside your PC, the most common and damaging villains are excessive heat, and its number one accomplice, dust. So why does the PC get so slow? It's not that it's tired. It's actually a built-in defense mechanism called thermal throttling, and you can actually see it happening in real time with monitoring software. Basically, your PC is smart enough to slow itself down to keep from getting damaged. It's a vital feature, but wow, is it frustrating for us. So what's causing all that extra heat? In most cases, this is the bad guy right here. Dust builds up on your components and acts just like a wool blanket in the middle of summer. It prevents heat from escaping, essentially creating a tiny oven inside your PC case. And here's the real irony. The fans, our cooling heroes, are also total dust magnets. The blades get caked in grime, they lose their efficiency, and the very system designed to save your PC ends up working against it. All right, let's get into the action. The good news is that the most effective treatment is also the cheapest and most accessible one. We're going to give your PC a deep, safe clean. But wait, before you start, let's talk about what not to do. Avoid vacuum cleaners. The static electricity they generate can literally fry your components. Stay away from hair dryers. The hot air can damage the hardware. And please, don't blow with your mouth. Your breath has moisture, and that's the mortal enemy of electronics. Okay, now for the right way to do it. First, safety. Shut down and unplug absolutely everything. Work in an area with good lighting. Use short bursts of compressed air to get the dust out. And this is super important. Hold the fan blades so they don't spin like crazy from the air. This stops them from generating a current that could damage your motherboard. With the PC all clean, it's time to optimize its respiratory system. It's not enough to just have fans. They need to work together as a team to create an efficient current of air. The concept is simple. Cool air in, hot air out. Think of it like breathing. The cool, denser air comes in from the bottom and front, washes over the hot components, absorbs their heat, and then, since hot air tends to rise, it gets pushed out through the back and top of the case. The ideal setup is straightforward. Front fans pull in fresh air, aiming it right at the graphics card and processor. Meanwhile, the back and top fans act as exhaust, kicking all that hot air out. You're creating a literal highway for air right through your case. Now, here's a really useful technical detail. Is it better to pull in more air than you push out, or the other way around? The answer is positive pressure. Having slightly more air coming in doesn't just improve cooling, and here's a pro tip, it also keeps dust from sneaking in through every little crack in the case. In the long run, that means less cleaning. It's totally recommended. One last point on airflow. Cable management. A jumbled mess of cables in the middle of your case acts like a barricade, blocking that air highway we just created. Take a little time to organize and tie them down. The difference is huge. If you've already cleaned your PC and optimized the airflow, but you want to take it one step further, this section's for you. Let's look at some upgrades to take your cooling to the next level. Let's talk about thermal paste. It's not just some gray gunk. It's a high-tech component. The surface of your processor and your cooler, even though they look smooth, are full of micro imperfections. Thermal paste fills in those gaps so that heat can transfer perfectly from the chip to the metal of the heatsink. Without it, the best cooler in the world is useless. And this is the golden rule. If you ever remove the cooler from your CPU for any reason, you have to clean off the old paste and apply a fresh layer. Reusing it creates air pockets, which are thermal insulators, and ruin the entire process. It's a mandatory step. Now, air or liquid, this table sums it up perfectly. Air cooling is affordable, reliable, and plenty for most people. Liquid cooling, or an AIO, is more expensive and complex, but it offers superior cooling performance, which is ideal if you're into overclocking or running very high-end components. And for the more adventurous folks, there's undervolting. The idea is to carefully reduce the voltage your processor receives. Less voltage equals less heat. If you do it right, you can lower your temperatures drastically with almost no performance loss. Now, it does require research, patience, and a lot of stability testing, but the results can be spectacular. We've diagnosed the problem, applied the treatment, and even considered some upgrades. Now, let's look at the result of all our hard work, a PC that can finally perform at its best. Remember, you're not just preventing problems. You're unlocking the true potential of your hardware. This translates to better performance in games and work, a quieter system, greater stability, and most importantly, a longer life for your valuable components. Taking care of your PC's temperature is one of the best time investments you can make. You've gone from having a machine that's struggling to survive to one that's running in its sweet spot. So, with your PC now cured, go ahead and ask us a question. What's the next component or problem you'd like us to dive deep into?